Hello students, welcome to Manzy tutorials. Today it's an interesting class. We're going to start a new topic. So in today's topic, let us see how exactly a database works, or what exactly is this database. So we'll be learning about database. Along with that, we'll be learning a new language. It's called SQL, or Structured Query Language. Right? So we'll be learning about database and a structured query language. So this is our new topic, and we'll be having at least 4 to 6 classes on this. And you'll be programming with me on an interactive tool, and it's online and it's open source, and we'll be using that bolt.com. We'll be using sqlbolt.com. This is an amazing website. I've been using this to teach SQL for quite some time. And I really like this tool because most students find it very interactive and also easy and very user friendly to understand and learn the SQL language or structured query language. So before we jump into what exactly is the database and what is SQL and how you guys can use this actually to learn database, let us see a couple of examples. Okay, so being a photographer, let me show you with a website that I really like. It's called borrowlenses.com. So here you can actually go to this particular website, and before you purchase any camera or any lens or anything related to digital art or like for photography or videography, you can actually rent it and you can actually test it, and if you like it, you can purchase it. So for example, if you see, and when you go to this website, and let's say you wanted to take something for photography, right? You click on photo, you see that there's a list of different things, and whatever they have been categorized into brands, cameras, lenses, lighting, support equipment, and accessories. The same thing with video. In video you have support equipment, accessories, lighting, audio. Again, you have cameras and brands. So photo brands are different and video brands are different. And if you want to purchase a used gear, it is completely different again, right? So now think about this. Where is all this data being stored? Where is all this information being stored? There should be a place for borrow lenses to store an information, right? The same way, let me show you another website. It's called Adorama. So they have amazing deals for photography, videography, and if you want to buy something for your Thanksgiving, this is the best website because their Black Friday sales have already been started, and they do have PlayStation also, I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So here, if you see, they have a category which says under $50, under $100, under $250, right? And they do have other categories as well. How do you think they are managing these categories, or where do you think, like, they have different sections like deal of the day, gift cards, VIP 360, rewards, home electronics, musical instruments, and every single thing is categorized again. Every single thing has been stored in a different place, right? How do you think they are going to manage, or how do you think all these websites work? So let me tell you something. For example, for a website like this to work, you need three things. The first important thing is media server, where your videos, photos, and yeah, music, documents are stored. That is called media server. Media server is a place where you store all of this. Next, you have application server, right? So how does this application work? For the smaller applications, you can have media server, application server, and database server in one single place. But for a server like Amazon, you see, Amazon is huge, right? Amazon website is very robust, and it has a lot of things in Amazon website, right? So for example, I can join in and then I'll have a separate set where what are my orders, how can I track my orders, right? So if you see all of these websites, they do have one thing apart from media server and application server, and that is called database. Database, this is something that we are going to learn today. Database is a place where there is collection of structured data. When you have something called structured data, it is nothing but information. Very important. Information is the most important thing for any company these days, right? So because and they consider as information to be the wealth of the company. The more information that you have, the more things that you can actually do with that kind of information, right? So a database is nothing but collection of structured data, and this collection of structured data is also called as information. So if you want to this data if you want to manipulate the data, transform the data, like addition or deletion, or deleting, or extract a part of data, you would need something like a database language, because you guys know how programming languages work, right? Like you have learned how what is Python and what is HTML. Similarly, like you have a particular language for database, and this language is mostly called as SQL, that is structured query language, which will help you to manipulate, transform, or extract the information from a database, right? So this SQL has many types of language. Many companies came up with their type of their own SQL. So one of the pioneers in this company in delivering the database with their own language is called Oracle. It's a very big company, and you have something like MySQL, and you have PostgreSQL, and then you have other languages like SQLite. Microsoft has their own language called Microsoft SQL, right? So these are some of the languages that actually work with the database. And these days there are many types of databases. There are hierarchical, network-based database, and object-oriented database. But most of the time, the databases that we use these days are called relational database. Relational database. Long time back, when this relational database, when the concept of database was not prominent, what people used to do is people used to maintain every single information of the customer. Let's say I have a store, and I sell my clothes, I sell designer clothes, right? So if I have a store like that, I'm bound to use an Excel sheet, right? So this is an Excel sheet where I have customer name. Hold on, let me show you this as an example. Customer name, address, product, product he purchased, and then phone number, and then delivery. So maybe I'm just taking some examples, like I misspelled customer. Right? People used to maintain, like for example, a shop used to maintain this. But what if there are two customer names which are same? What if the same customer's address has been changed? What if this customer has purchased more than one product? That's where the challenges arise when you're not using a database. That's when many people thought about this problem and they came up with relational database, where the data is not stored in one table, but instead data is stored in multiple tables, and every table is related to each other. So for example, we have seen some e-commerce websites like Borrow Lenses or Adorom or Amazon, right? So now what they do is they store the customer information in different tables. They store the product information that they purchased in different tables, and then they have order table in different tables. So for example, this particular table is only related to the customer. This table name is customer. Table customer. Here I have another table, product. Here I have another table, order. So for example, I have customer name Kumar Nemani, and he has a unique ID. Unique ID. I'm just giving you an example. UID 101. You have Joseph Hernandez. He has unique ID 102. I have another ID, another person, Miguel Lara. He has a unique ID which is 103. So I have 100 products, right? So let's say my first product is PS5. In my store I have PS5. The product ID is PID X1. I have Xbox. This product ID is PID X2. I have Nintendo Switch. The product ID is X3. Now, Joseph Hernandez, whose ID is 102, has placed an order of purchasing two Nintendo Switches. This forms a relational database. You see that a customer 102 has ordered PIX2 and he needs two of them, right? So this one and this box both are related. So that's the reason these days we are using something called relational database to extract, transform, and modify the data inside these tables. We need to use a specific language that is called SQL. So what are the three things that we can do? Extract, transform, and modify. Extract, transform, and modify is being done by using a language called structured query language. You understand this? Now, let us see how this works in real time. Before we jump into an example, I wanted to tell you one more thing. The names of the tables, if you have noticed, I have given that table 1, table 2, and table 3. They have names customer, product, and orders. These table names are called entities. They're called entities. And then you see like the content inside the table. The content inside the tables are called attributes. You'll understand better when we actually see a real-time example. Entities and attributes. These are the two important keywords that I want you guys to remember, because we'll be using this keywords often going further into these tutorials. So the first one is entities and the next one is attributes. Now, let me draw a line and then let us go to the website that I was talking about, sqlbolt.com. So this is an interactive tutorial website where you can actually learn SQL Bolt at your convenience by yourself. You don't need a teacher or a tutor for learning something from this particular website, because everything is self-explanatory. But let me show you something. you have to go to sqlbolt.com. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can directly click on the link and directly go here, and you can see that they have around 18 or 19 lessons on interactive tutorial. Today we will be focusing on 1 and 2. It's really important to understand the basics and become perfect in the basics. That's when you can actually understand the rest of the things with an ease. Okay, now I want you guys to pay attention to this particular table which says vehicles. So let me take a snipping shot of this. And the reason why I'm taking a snipping tool is one thing that I love about Windows is you can actually copy this and put it in your whiteboard where I'm teaching and annotate on it. More, make it big. So now, one thing that you notice is this particular table name is vehicles, and they're talking about each vehicle has their own identifier. It has their make and model, number of wheels, number of doors, and type. So we're talking about these vehicles, right? So the name of the vehicles, the name of the table vehicles becomes your entity. This is your entity. ID or make and model or the number of vehicles or the number of wheels, the number of doors, the type. These are your separate attributes. So the list of the attributes, if someone asks you, give you a table and or an entity which is vehicle and ask you what are the attributes, the attributes in this table are, let me write this. The attributes in this table are ID, make or model, number of wheels, number of doors, and the type of the car, whether it is a car, vehicle, sedan, or a race car, whatever it is, the type of it. So these are attributes, these are entities. The vehicle, the table name vehicle is your entity. The ID, make and model, vehicle, door, and type are your attributes. This is very important for us to understand and progress to the next part of our tutorial, where you guys are actually going to program by writing your first SQL queries. Okay, so what we need to do is here, if you see, we are going to go and directly go to the example. The attribute for the entity movies are ID, title, director, year, and length underscore minutes or length in minutes. Now, what we need to do is we need to see this. We need to understand if you want to select query for a specific column, you want only a specific column, you want only a specific attribute. If you want only a specific column or a specific attribute, what you need to write is from the table, select column name. Here in this green, you have to write column name or attribute name, or from, you're going to write select column name or attribute name from your entity name or your table name. And then make sure to close it with a semicolon. So this is the first set of code. So this code is way different from what you did it in HTML and Python or C programming, right? It is going to be extremely different, and many people feel that it is going to be an easy thing, right? Because it's all about logic and writing simple statements, simple queries, like you're questioning your relational database to either modify, transform, or extract the data. At this moment, we are only trying to extract the data. Extracting is the easy part. So let us see how we can, our first question is find the title of each film. I need only the title. So what I need to do is select, I need only the title from, remember what I wrote here? I need to write select, column name or attribute name is title, from table name. What is the table name? The table name is movies. The moment I write movies and close it, see what happens. The table has completely disappeared and you extracted only the title from your table or from your entity. Now, the second question is find the director of each film. So instead of title, you just have to write director. So these are the directors who worked on Disney movies or Pixar movies for the last 10 years or 12 years and making the films that we have just seen some time before. And whenever you get the answer right, it is going to give you a tick. It is going to give you a green tick. Now, the third question is find title and director of each film. So I don't need only director, I don't need only title, but I need both title and director together. For me to get that, all I have to do is select title and, not and, sorry, select title, comma, director from movies. Now you see that Toy Story 1 or Toy Story has been directed by John Lasseter. Again, Toy Story 2 is by the same person. A Bug's Life is by the same person. Monster Inc. by Pete Doctor. Right. So you see that all these titles of these movies and their related directors have been extracted. But now, in the last question, I want, in the fourth question, I want find the title and the year of each film. Instead of director, I just have to replace it with year. Got it? So, which movie has been released in which year has been clearly mentioned and has been extracted by using the query select column, another column from your entity. Now, if you want to find all the information about each film, like if you want to get the complete information of your table, so what you need to do is your code will be select star from your entity. Select star from your entity is going to give you the complete information on how, on what information is there in actually your table. So I'll remove this and then I'm going to simply write select star. How do you get star? You just have to press shift and 8 together, you get the star. Now you got the complete information of all of your tables. Now, in your assignment, what you will be doing is I will be giving find the title of each film. Like I'll be giving the same questions. You have to just simply write down the query that you used under each question and then turn it in your Google Classroom, which will be graded. Now, since you have completed lesson 1, let us continue and let us go to lesson 2. SQL lesson 2, queries with constraints. Right? So you have queries, you started writing queries like select star from movies or select title and director from movies, but now you're going to add some conditions or constraints to actually make your work a little bit better. Right? So these are some of the conditions. So the first one is equal to, the next symbol, whenever you see there's an exclamation mark and then equal to, that means it's not equal to. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, you know all the symbols. And there is a condition, there is an operator which says between and. So if you want to find all the movies between released between 2000 and 2010, you will just write between 2000 and 2010. That's what you need to write to get something between a range, right? And if you want something which is not in this range, you just have to add not in between. And then you have in number exists in the list. So you'll understand all of these operators when we actually go to this example and try to work with this example. You have to now in exercise 2, you see that the first question is find the movies with a row id of 6. That means all I have to find is only this id of 6. Find the movie. So I would definitely need id comma title, but I got everything. Instead, what I need is where id is equal to 6 from movies. It says incomplete SQL query. Select column from another select column another column from my table where condition. So first comes from my table, then comes condition. Okay. So this is a mistake that I did. The common mistake what people do is you have to remove this and go here and write down here where id is equal to 6. Now you see that the id 6 belongs to the title or belongs to the movie The Incredibles. And in case if you want to find the director of this particular film, you just write director. So you got that it's Brad Bird. So that's how you extract the information from a table. So sometimes tables can have millions of records or billions of records. For example, Amazon, right? More than 100,000 people purchase. I am not even sure how many people do shopping on every day basis, on every hour basis. And if you want to pull out some information from that kind of a database, you would need first thing powerful relational database, and you would need really strong queries to find out the information, right? Now the next question is find the movies released in the years between 2000 and 2010. Okay, so what I'll do is id title and year. I got this, but I need only the movies that are released between 2000 and 2010. So I don't need 2011, 12, 13. I don't need 99, 95, 98, and 99. So what I'm going to do is select id title year from movies where year year is between. You see this between and. So I'm going to use that particular keywords between 2000 and 2010. Now I got the movies which are released between 2001 or between 2000 and 2010 by just adding a keyword and a constraint which is between and. Find the movies not released in the years 2000 and 2010. So if I have to find out the movies that are not released, that is in 1995, 1998, and 1999, 2011, 12, and 13. If I want to find out those years as per this example, instead of adding between, I just have to add not between. Then you will get 95, 98, 99, 11, 12, 13 as I discussed earlier. Now find the find the first 5 Pixar movies and their release years. So first I would need id title year from movies. But here I would need only the first 5 Pixar movies. To find the first 5 Pixar movies, number exists in list. ID in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I have to write. ID where ID in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Saw that? Whenever I was writing 1, 2, you see that only 1 and 2 are popping out. But whenever I complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have completed the question, the first 5 Pixar movies and their release years. So in your assignment, you will be given exercise 1 and exercise 2 with all of these questions, and you will have to write down the answers as you see on the screen. So this would be your answer for exercise 2, question 4. And when you write this down and when you turn this in, you will get the complete grade. Now I'm going to stop the recording, and in the next tutorial you will be learning about lesson 3 and lesson 4.